Turn on that radio and back here. The cops ain't likely to catch up with us, not tonight. So we can all be quiet and peaceable and listen to the music.
This episode of Auto Dealer Live is brought to you by TrueCar.
Why not?
We can't see the screen, but how you guys doing?
Hey, are we on? Maybe we're on. Maybe we're not.
We're on.
We're on, Lou?
Right. Yes, we are.
Hey, welcome everybody. It's 3:30. It's
Hey, you know what's funny? Like,
Auto
some
Dealer
people,
Live.
like, actually...
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? I can barely hear my ears, but that's okay. I'm going to keep talking.
Go
I've
ahead.
learned to not point stuff like that out, Tommy.
Sorry.
Lou
I
was
can't hear
talking
mine.
over
Well.
the course of time. As
Sorry.
Talk, things begin to
I heard
operate
it. There I
and
hear
function properly.
We're talking.
So basically, if you're on our end over here, what happens is we just begin to have the show and do things, and then slowly but surely, 1 or 2 or 3 seconds at a time, things begin to
I'd
function.
like people to think that we're normal people, 1, and 2, this is real for real deal live stuff. So guess what happens? Sometimes, hey, there's a little glitch.
There it is. Hey,
Sometimes,
look at that. The
Hey,
monitor
there's a
just
little,
came on.
It's not that there's a glitch, right? I'm doing a two-man job here. That's what it is.
We have another problem. We have another problem.
My cherub didn't have any problem doing that.
Come
Bam!
on.
Look at Subi's going to smile on that
Subi,
one.
don't laugh.
We have another issue.
why does
Lou.
somebody think that's so funny?
what is it?
She loves
That's
Cherub.
funny.
You'll never replace Cherub in her heart.
What's up, Cribs?
We have one more issue. I actually look older than I think I really am on the camera.
No, that's how you look.
No,
Oh,
that's you.
okay.
That's-
All right,
You
sorry.
actually look younger on camera.
Yeah. Actually, the
Oh,
camera,
man.
the camera,
Thanks.
the camera adds. They said they adds 10 years.
The camera.
But how many cameras do you have on you?
Yeah. Apparently, I got like 6 cameras on me. 'Cause,
Hey, Cribs, I can make you look younger if you want.
please airbrush me, Photoshop
Hold
me,
on.
do
I
something.
got you.
For
I'm-
God's
Cribs,
sake.
in reality, you're what? You're 50
I'm
or
gonna
49
work
this
on
year? 49 or
I-
50?
I am.
For real.
I'm a little higher than that.
51?
Cribs, you look much younger now.
Yeah, 51.
That was funny, Lou.
There we go.
But he
Lou.
gained like 180 pounds.
There you go.
It's a magic trick. Lou is David Copperfield. He's like, I'm going to make you look younger. I'm also going to make you look 180 pounds heavier.
Oh,
Voila.
Wow.
oh,
Magic.
gosh.
Wow.
Yeah,
That was
what are you
good.
gonna
All
say?
right, so we're done we roasted each
Okay,
other.
we're done roasting.
Are
That's
we?
fun.
Let's do it.
No, we're not done, but
Not
just
really.
for the hour that we're on the air. Then when we get off, we can continue.
Continue the roastage,
For the sake of the audience.
please.
All right. So we've got a great show today, and what is ironic is the fact that we are having a show that is talking about millennials in the car business, and then we have you here,
Right.
like AARP card. One more. All right,
you
so
gotta
that was
have-
the last one.
You gotta have like point counterpoint, right? So I'm like
Right.
the counterpoint.
The counterpoint, right?
Yeah.
So 2 ends of the spectrum. We're going to
Let's do
bookend the age gap between the car dealers.
Yeah. Wow.
So I
So what
guess
was it like selling the first Studebaker that rolled off the lot? How was that? No, nice.
Studebaker. Did it take time to crank start the vehicle before you take them on the test drive? I mean, like before the crank started, did they get impatient?
That was one of the
You know-
premier parts of the walk around. Like, watch how quick it is to start this. It only takes 77 cranks. Let's
If
count.
you walked
One,
around,
two,
my
three,
question would be:
four, five.
when you walked around, did the horse ever kick you? That's my question. All right, last one. So this is Auto Dealer Live, and we are talking millennials in the car business today, making money, successful. These are people in that age bracket today that are literally doing something extremely spectacular at their respective dealerships, and we have a great lineup of incredible people in store for you today. And they're going to be talking about their practices and how they move the needle at their dealership, how they do this today in 2017, and how they're doing it well. So I'm extremely happy to have our guest on. We've got, I think our youngest, if I understood her correctly, is about to turn 22. Is Subi's about to turn 22, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Subi's
see,
gonna
Subi,
be
you like that? No, we someone that's about to turn 22, and then I don't know to what age we're going today, but we're staying in that millennial genre, in that millennial age bracket crib. So I'm excited though, man. We've got some incredible movers and shakers, and that's really the thing, because we're gonna squash today once and for all any idea that one would have about millennials' work ethic, hours in the car business, or whatever it takes to make it happen, because these individuals are doing extraordinary things today in the car business. I think they're leading the way. And so if you're listening today, and maybe you're struggling with certain demographics in hiring, or maybe keeping the younger up and coming individuals that are sharp and ready, today I would say grab a pen and a pad, or get your iPads out, and take some notes, because you're going to catch some nuggets today that's going to help you if you're open to it. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, and it's really cool to have a show like this, because when we talk about the ages of the guests that are on, and some of them that are just doing amazing things, but the coolest part is when you see someone young in this business that really catches the passion for it, and you look at them and see what they're doing, and that they're kind of all in, and you're looking at someone that not only you get to the fun of getting to watch them develop throughout their career, but you're looking at someone that's going to be the future decision maker in the car business. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point. Sometimes in society in general, you hear older people, and I say older people, typically older people, maybe dogmatic, people, even if they're not, older than us or what have you, but say, in general, man, we're in trouble, because this. Right. But I think that's so stinking thinking, because I look at people that work here for us, and people that are in the car business, like some that we have on the show today, and I don't think we're in trouble. I think we have a ton of opportunity, and then we're in a great place for a launch, a relaunch. It's almost like the car business has gotten to a certain place and a certain level. But I mean, unless we've arrived, right, no industry is where they need to be. I know I'm not where I need to be, or I'm going to be. I haven't arrived at that final destination. So I think that rather than a launch, how about a relaunch?
Yeah.
Right?
It's interesting you say that, because a lot of people within the industry and industry experts, I've actually had some conversations recently with quite a few that have talked about that they just feel like we're in this stage where something major is about to shift. We're about to see a total kind of redesign and remake-up of the auto business. So so it's kind of interesting to think about that.
What did they reference what? Specifically, or they couldn't put their finger on it?
Yeah, they couldn't put their finger on it. They just said, man, it just, and this is not just one conversation, by the way. So
it's been coming, right, for a couple of years, and now it's kind of like starting now. I mean, it feels like there's been something about the change.
Yeah.
And whether it's, the advancement in technology or the whole millennial conversation, whatever, but it feels like it's going that
I think
direction.
it's kind of all of it kind of coming together. We'll hear from our panel about that as well, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Lou, I don't want to put you on the spot, because if the answer is no, it probably is not the good time to do it. But I was just thinking, all these comments that are coming in on Facebook, I'd like to know, first of all, if you're watching on Facebook, I mean, Brian West, Emily Bauer, I know Emily is, Joey Perez, you are. We have some millennials watching. I'd like to find out, hey, who is watching that fits into that category, and you say, hey, I'm here, I'm moving and shaking. I saw somebody, I think it was Emily Bauer from Dealer Authority, said is an Auto Dealer Live viewing party. But I don't know if this is able to be done, Lou, but I know Facebook now has on Facebook Live the ability to invite. Have we figured that? Is that possible? Or here's a cool thing. Lou shook his. I don't know if he was shaking his head like I got this, or. But hold on, before you say yes, Lou, and bite off like way more than you could chew, like like completely shove your foot down into your belly. Let me say that I would like to start doing this, guys, where you're on Facebook, you're watching, not only calling in, if you prefer to jump on and ask your question via your cell phone, you'd like to just I don't know if that's not Skype, Facebook Live. Invite right on in and go, here I am right here. I've got a question for you guys. That we'd love to do that. Can that happen, Lou, or no?
Yes.
Wow.
I make anything happen.
Look, he didn't even wait.
Lou's got literally, I counted them, 7 monitors that he's monitoring single-handedly.
All right. So here's what we're gonna do. Okay, so you guys can. Here's what we're gonna do. So you guys that are watching right now, Tommy, let's go through some of the comments here real quick. And then the guys that are watching, Tommy's gonna read some of your comments. Here's what we're gonna do. When our panel comes on in a few, they're gonna start talking, and then we're not gonna obviously be able to bring tons of people on maybe for our first one. But what I'd like to do, Lou, in lieu of, no pun intended, in lieu of calling in, or in addition to the ability to call in on the number on the screen, we'd like to, and you could post a comment if you'd like to be one. Hey, I got a question. I wouldn't mind Facebook living in. Then we'll invite you. We'll get you on the screen, and you could do a video call in and be right here, and then ask your question to our panel and our audience. How does that sound?
Just make sure that they understand, though, they still have to call in the phone number so we can get audio. They still have to call the number.
Why don't you let them know that, since that's
well,
what you
guys,
just said.
if you guys are going to be calling in, and we can use a video from your Facebook, just go ahead and call.
They can't use the audio from the Facebook Live?
No, it will not work.
Okay.
Something to do with the
All right,
stream,
so tell them what to do, Lou.
So you're going to call in. You're going to Facebook Live us, and you're
How's
going to
that
dial 813-574-1820. What foot?
How's that foot taste? See, that's what I'm talking. Like, it's like, oh, crap, I forgot that part.
I didn't
Just make sure when you call us, you're going to have to drive to Nevada.
We have a bunch of
And
people,
you're gonna have to go
mouthing
on the
questions.
top of mountain.
They're gonna be like, we can't hear you.
Can we do it? Absolutely.
Hey, can we read some comments? We got some good comments.
Sure.
We're blowing up.
Hey, 813-574-1820 is that number to call if you want to
Yeah.
Skype in or Facebook Live in. Brian West said pad. What are these old people things? Oh, Brian, I oughta. One of those. Joey Brett says, when you walk around, did the horse kick you? Oh, he was happy with that comment.
Joy. Lewis typed joy. Joy.
Subi, Ghosh, quit.
Hey,
being
Dave.
That was an
so
emoji,
mean to
so you just
our
typed in the word
Oh,
joy.
Hey, Dave. just
Subi said, quit being so mean to Cribs.
Yeah,
Oh,
Subi's defending me. Thank you, Subi.
man, yeah, she didn't like. She liked that one. Excited to hear from Jake and Subi. Jillian Ambrose said that. Well, we are too. Auto Dealer Live, hashtag Auto Dealer Live. Put your comments with a hashtag Auto Dealer Live on your social media. We'll.
Danielle Stevens said, "Oh, it's on."
Who said that?
Danielle Stevens.
Oh, it's on.
Christopher
indeed,
Ward, this should be a
Danielle.
good show. Emily Bauer, Auto Dealer Live Party. Brian West, hey everyone. Christopher Ward, you're going to have to divide millennials who just get into the car business to pay off their crazy school loans, and millennials who are the millennial car dogs of the future.
Yeah, that's a good point. I like that.
Let's get our guest involved. What do you guys say, huh?
Let's do it.
All right, Lou, we're going to be back. How long? 60 seconds?
about that.
Okay, about 60 seconds.
813-574-1820. Call us.
120 seconds.
All right.
2 and 2.
Hi, I'm Chip Perry. The pledge was and is an action plan designed to address head-on the concerns that many of you told me about right after I took this job. Thus far, our dealer pledge has been aimed at fixing the major pain points that you told us about related to our product, our customer service, and our consumer advertising. I'd like to reiterate that our dealer pledge is our ongoing commitment to you, our dealer customers, and we will continue to work hard to improve our service to you.
Hey, Dave Cribbs here, Serial Sales Pro Trainer, talking about our upcoming Internet BDC Boot Camp. Look, it's no secret that every dealer is focused in this area. Arguably, our best leads are coming in either through Internet, through outbound phone calls, or most importantly, that inbound call that's arguably now the best up that we have. Now, when we have ups on our showroom floor, we're all over them when it comes to process and what we're doing, and we see what's happening. But oftentimes in the internet, it's overlooked, and here's where we are missing opportunities, and this is really the new playground, if you will, for process and interaction with customers. So join us for our BDC boot camp, where we're not only going to talk about selling the appointment rather than the car, but more importantly, selling the appointment that sticks, that shows. Join myself, John Marazzi, managing partner of Brandon Honda Sun Toyota, a history of taking dealerships to a whole new crazy level, and others at our Serial Sales Pro Boot Camp, Internet BDC, coming up soon. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Chip.
All right, we're back. I love it. You heard he said, we'll come back in 2 seconds. Ready? 5, 4.
That's why math, God
Yeah.
bless him.
All right.
He's a
That millennial math. That's that Common Core stuff, right?
I don't think
there.
Lou's not a millennial.
What do
All
you
right.
mean not millennial?
How old are you?
I'm 32.
You're
Yeah, millennials
33.
up to
Like you said. I
35.
think
I'll be
millennial.
33 in May. 75.
I'm pretty
75
sure
to
there's a
95.
cutoff somewhere, bro.
75 to 95.
All right.
75 to 90.
75 to 95 is millennials?
Yes.
No, it's
So
not.
how am I a millennial?
You're not a millennial.
You're not a millennial.
You look
You're
like
old.
I was born in 77. You just said 75.
Yeah, but you know what though? You're rare because how old your father?
They moved
My
it.
father's 83.
Yeah.
His Father's Day. Tommy's dad was kicking it, boy.
The problem is that Tommy can't
My
be
dad's a
millennial.
All right, hey, we gotta-
My middle name's Melbourne.
Hey, okay, okay.
Bill
Listen,
Byrne.
enough ripping. Let's bring our guests on. I'm ready to hear from them.
bring
All
on
right,
the panel.
here we go. Sponsored guys by Automoto HR. We have Tony Washington, Internet Sales Specialist at Crane Buick GMC of Springdale. We have Celia Strong. If I said that wrong, I apologize. You can correct me. Web Media Manager at forget her name. I'm going to have problems
Shenandoah.
pronouncing this dealership.
Shenandoah.
What?
Shenandoah.
Shenandoah. Oh, yeah, sure. That's a common looking word. Shenandoah Buick GMC. Subi Ghosh, Senior Director of Dealer Strategy at Stream Companies. We have Jake Davis, Internet Relations Manager at North Georgia Toyota. Love the accent. Jake Jameson Johnson, just got to spend a couple of days with Jameson. What a sharp cat. Sales Inventory Manager, Athens Ford in Georgia. And we have Ryan Dunkel, former automotive sales and marketing professional, Performance Toyota Volvo. And guys, thank you so much. Gals, thank you so much for being with us. Great topic. Excited to hear from you guys. Cribs, I'm going to kick it over to you and let you
All right.
start us off.
So let's go to Ryan. Ryan Dunkel, you're with us?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, so we'll get started with you, Ryan. And the first question, I guess, is when you're in the dealership, do you even consciously think about the fact that hey, we're millennials, and maybe some of the people in the dealership, maybe some of the people in different positions are older? Is there a separation in the thought process of hey, maybe part of the dealership is old school, part of it's new school? I mean, do you even categorize yourself as a millennial? What is that like?
I personally don't. I don't like to separate myself. I just treat myself as like any other person that wants to aspire to be bigger and greater. So I don't really look at it from a perspective of, hey, I'm a millennial, they're a baby boomer. I mean, the reality is we're all in this together, and we need to make the needle move, and we need to do what our job is, which is sell cars. And that's pretty much what I look at it as. What are we here to do?
Yeah, great point on that. I can't agree more. I know that's a question we have to ask, Cribs, but I mean, Subi, when I look at this, really, with the question that Cribs asked, the only reason we're even talking about this and bringing this show to the light and having this discussion is because we're saying, I think the way maybe the generation was raised, just with some of the technology and maybe just the era that was raised, that there's a stigma maybe that's there, and I want to squash that today, Subi. And so really, if I'm looking at the group that's on this panel, including of course yourself, these are movers and shakers. I mean, it really doesn't matter how old. That's the point of the conversation, I guess, the age bracket. But I mean, really, isn't it about just crushing it at whatever age?
Yeah, and I don't know. I think of it this way. I think you're going to have lazy people and successful, driven people in any single generation. Mm-hmm. And our problem, the reason why people get so disappointed with millennials being in our world is that we're just not hiring right. There are plenty, as you can see, with there's a small percentage of the driven millennials that are on this show right now, and that's still a significant number of people that you brought on here. And there are going to be hungry, driven people that are just going to do the job, and those are the people you have to find. I do think that the way that certain generations were raised with technology makes them a little less social, or when you're raised by a certain generation, you behave differently, and that goes from every generation on down. But I really don't see the major issue that a lot of people seem to stick to and talk about with this bias against millennials, because I've always had incredible success, and I think part of that is knowing how to hire and how to hold them accountable and how to hear what they need. And that's not just for millennials, that's for any generation.
Yeah. Chris, when we first started talking about this, a couple of years ago, when we kind of, talked in general, it was more like you had a lot of people that complained on comments or said negative types of things, about millennials and so forth. But really, today's show is we have people that are leading the way.
Yeah,
in other words, it's
no
not
doubt.
like So like in other words, there's people, the same people that were throwing stones are watching their videos and watching them skyrocket. I mean, I was talking to Jameson, who was here at our boot camp Monday and Tuesday, and just how incredible. I mean, this is a guy who, Jameson, I'm going to ask you. I mean, this is a guy who literally took the initiative to say, I want to go to the boot camp, and went and made a deal with his management team, and said, if I hit this number, will you send me there? Will you send me down there? And they said yes, and he did, and then they did. And Jameson, I mean, that's incredible. I mean, you're structuring deals with your organization to better yourself, and so. And by the way, and he didn't do this wasn't well, anyway, I want to have you comment on that, Jameson. That's a mindset that transcends generations. I mean, that's a mindset that gets anyone's attention. And talk a little bit about what gives you that drive to succeed.
Yeah, and thank you guys again for having me on the show. It's good to see you guys earlier this week, but it's good to hear. I work in Athens, and I've got a really supportive staff here, management staff. I've always had it, since day one, whatever I wanted to do, as far as, with sales and social media. But a lot of people don't know, unless you know me personally, but at the dealership, I actually did start in sales. I was actually the inventory manager / lot porter. I was making about $12 an hour, starting off. And this was just back in 2013, so not very long ago. But just having the support system and them, just pushing me to be able to grow and get to the next level, and setting goals for yourself month in and month out on what you want to accomplish either for that month and for the year. With Ford, I'm sure other manufacturers offer it, but they have the awards that they give you for your sales for the year. But the excellence award, you'll get plaques, you'll get rings, stuff like that. But that was definitely one of my goals as well, to hit that point every single year. And like I said, the staff here is super supportive, and anytime I want to go to a training event, I just let them know, hey, I want to go to this, and, we make it happen.
That's good.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I was corrected by Matt Koenig. It is, or Lou was corrected, rather. It's 1980. That's the cutoff for millennials, just for the record, Lou.
Yeah.
And then New Car Mark. Hey, let's take it to, let's take the question to Tony. New Car Mark had tweeted a stat, 77% of millennials have a positive perception of a company that offers text engagement capabilities. So when it comes to I don't know if that's technology per se, but when it comes to technology, how tools. Important, tools like that, how important is that to somebody like yourself?
I believe that, those tools are very important. And I think that's what is separating us apart from, or it's not even necessarily separating us, but like you said, leading the way. That's what's allowing us to lead the way, is that we were kind of brought up with this technology. We embrace it a lot easier. We grew up in the YouTube how-to era. So we've got training at our fingertips. At any point in time, we can look up and see how to do certain things, and that's what, we embrace the training, we embrace the apps and the different things that make it easier for us to build the experience before we even get to sit down with a customer.
That's good.
Awesome. Yeah. So Cialia Strong, is it pronounced Cialia, or are we butchering it?
It's Shalia.
Like I said, Shalia.
So close. Very close.
So Shalia, let's talk about this for a moment, because I think this is an interesting perspective. But we hear so much in the marketplace, Dave and Tommy, also that about communicating and reaching the millennial market, the consumer market. Now, Shalia, as the media manager, I'm guessing as a millennial, don't you feel you have an advantage there in helping reach the up and coming millennial market, being a millennial yourself?
Oh, definitely. Half of my managers they all have Facebook and stuff like that, so they all use social media, but they don't use it to the extent of what me or even my friends would use it. So it's just interesting to see and watch how they would use it, comparing it to us, and knowing that me myself, I use it differently than them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So give us a tip.
I was gonna say, how do you do it different? What's different?
I don't know. I guess it's more engaging to actually. I mean, maybe not me personally. I don't post a lot, but even just like scrolling through and seeing my friends actually post and seeing what they post and stuff like that. Like they share. They're more open to sharing a lot more, like feeling wise or even what they're doing, as opposed to someone who is older, even like my parents. They don't really. I don't know. They don't really share anything like that, not personal wise.
Yeah. No, and thank you, Sheila. And so, it's funny, Jake, I'll go to you, but really it's when it comes to social media, let's take that for a second. It's obviously anyone on the panel, like Tony had said, grew up, using social media, using the tools that, YouTube generation, what have you. And, but I mean, I think that it's the sharing part of that is, when Celia said that her friends share, I think that any age bracket, that's really the key when it comes to that. I mean, like in other words, are you sharing, yourself? Are you out there going, hey, let's check out what I'm doing? I think it's a Bill Have that actually, videos the test drives. We were talking in Texas a couple of weeks ago to a dealer group about videoing the test drive and just interacting with his customers in a special way. And when you do something like that, and then you make them feel special by just using the tools that are at your disposal that you guys have grown up on, it's not like it's difficult to do. I think what it is it's maybe difficult to understand the importance of if you're not used to it. It's not difficult to do, but to see the importance of that. It's just like going to a network meeting for somebody that's in another generation, and except you could do that 20 times the audience, and you can share your experiences. So Jake, let me ask you, man, you're the internet relations manager, there. Obviously you're doing a lot of things. You also said that you're helping them out, I think, with digital marketing. So talk about that. North Georgia Toyota. I love the accent, by the way. And, talk a little bit about your role there, man, and some of the transition that's going on. And maybe even give us an example, Jake, of something that might have been difficult for some of the, quote unquote, veterans, that how they transitioned and how maybe it was difficult for someone. And maybe you have a case study of somebody that embraced it, that didn't want to or didn't know how to, and now maybe they're leading the way, posting at your dealership and doing something. Do you have some stories like that, Jake?
Yeah. So one of the things with millennials, I mean, we kind of talked about it, but I think they are very heavily influenced by friends. So obviously by seeing their friends post something, if they bought a vehicle, it might get somebody, one of their friends interested or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of our social presence, I mean, we took it from when I started, we were very canned, if that makes sense. I mean, we had, just content that people didn't really engage with. To the point now where, which we work with a company called Dealer Authority. I know a lot of those guys are in here. Appreciate you guys tuning in. But, I mean, they've been awesome for us. And one of the things that I try to do, we've got a Spanish website now with Buscador de Auto.
Mm-hmm.
And so I try, weekly, at least monthly, to get a new, fresh Spanish video out where they're doing walk-arounds on Camrys, Corolla, stuff like that in Spanish.
I want to hear. I got to hear. Can I hear you say something in Spanish with that accent? I just got to hear. Can you say something? Do you know any Spanish, Jake, at all? Because your accent in Spanish, I mean, that's just like almost like two languages at one time, brother.
But yeah, that's really where I've tried to get us on the map is with the Spanish content. I mean, that's some of our best and most engaging and lowest cost content on social media to kind of reach the Hispanic market. That's something I've really prided myself in with our market, is trying to reach more Hispanic buyers through social. But I do a lot of content, videos through BombBomb. I think I saw Elise was in here. So shout out to Elise through BombBomb. But that's been an awesome platform just to get, personalized videos out.
Right.
When people are putting in leads, trying to get as many videos out as possible. If I ever go out, if we don't have pictures up, I mean, I'm going to take a video every single time. Because, I mean, it's just as easy to clip the pictures as it is to take a video.
Is somebody on the panel besides Jake use something like BombBomb and say and then how's it working for you? Like maybe give us an example of how someone viewed your video, you were able to capture that, take advantage of the fact that it was instant, and then maybe land a deal or some type of referral off of that. Does someone have a case study or a story that they'd like to share, maybe using something like that?
Well, this is Tony, and I use BombBomb. I think BombBomb is a great tool. I've we have manifest lists, lists, and I do a data entry, put in everything, upload a CSV file for like a private offer, and I can mass send it. I can send one video, an exciting video. Hey, you've been accepted. You've been selected for, for $2,500 off of your next purchase, and it goes out to everyone. I can see whenever they're looking at it. I can then call and then personalize a video towards them or a phone call towards them, taper to them, get their information, and it just ushers a large amount. It's not about who you have in front of you right now. It's about who you can get in front of.
That's good. That's good. That's good, Dave.
Should we read some comments? There's a lot of comments going on.
Does anybody want, Lou, has anybody reached out about, does anybody want to come on and ask a question via video? Okay.
So I noticed that Joe Straffolino was saying that time off was more important than the money with millennials, and
was Joe commenting?
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
Joe Straffolino from Causeway Hyundai,
that's a common
Causeway
thread.
Nissan, Causeway Ford,
I don't know if I buy
Causeway.
Well,
everyone likes time off. I'm 40. I'm an Xer, right?
Well, yeah, but you do that while you're at work.
That's true.
Yeah.
I do take time off while I'm here.
Yeah, Tommy gets his time off at work.
Yeah.
But
Top producer here, folks.
Joe Straffolino's not a millennial. Okay, he looks young, looks shape, but he's probably 40 something.
Yeah.
So what do you say?
But he has a few dealerships that he
5
oversees
dealerships
as well. So he's saying that the millennials prefer time off as opposed to maybe more money. And we've talked about that before on the show, but Subi, maybe you can comment on where we're at with that. I mean, is obviously money's, I think, certainly a motivating factor for most everyone, but
unless they do those tiny houses, unless they're part of those tiny house communities, maybe they don't need as much money. I don't know.
Is this true? I mean, would millennials rather have more of a relaxed schedule than they maybe make 60, 70 grand a year versus maybe 100 grand a year working more hours, more traditional hours?
Subi.
So I'm a big fan of sociology, and following sociology, the breakdowns of generations are different now than they used to be. We can fit everyone in 15 years and take a look at what the trends are, but like with any stats, that's a blanket statement. I know plenty of millennials who would much rather chase that money like anybody else.
Subi, let me rephrase the question. As an owner or a GM, am I looking for someone who wants a more relaxed schedule and is not as hot on making big money?
I like that one better.
That's just it. It comes down to the role. If you're hiring for a BDC, find someone who. I think we don't listen to people enough. I've managed boomers, I've managed millennials. We're not listening to what is important to the employee. And if I were to make a blanket statement, work-life balance and culture is more important to this age group than previous generations, as is feeling a part of something big. That doesn't mean you're not going to find really driven, passionate people that are going to be financially motivated. Vice versa, I found plenty of boomers that worked for me that wanted work-life balance. Does that make sense?
My curiosity when you said that is that really the case, or has it always been that way? It just 70 years ago, your grandpa wasn't allowed to have the work-life balance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now it's become more of like a thing where we have to address it, because I can't imagine anyone didn't say, "Oh, I'd love to have a."
Let me read Brian. I don't know who Brian. And I apologize, Brian. I may know you if I saw your picture. You guys may know who Brian West is. Brian West commented and said Joseph. I guess he called Joe Straffolino Joseph. Yeah. Joseph, he said, I disagree 100%. He said, I'm all about working as hard as possible and earning as much money as possible. So, Ryan Dunkel, let me go to you. This is something, because this is a question, and this is not only a question that some owners have, this may be a deterrent, from somebody, reaching out and opening their arms up maybe to a certain segment to some degree. What is your opinion of this? I mean, are you somebody who really says, hey, I have no problem working, I'll outwork anyone, or is a flexible schedule important to you? And what do you think, Ryan?
Ryan had to leave.
Okay, so Ryan's up.
He was in training.
Okay. All right, Jameson, let me go to you and ask that same question. Help us with this and solve this
When
rephrase the question one more time. Is basically asking.
Well, I mean,
in,
just back and forth.
Money versus time off.
Yeah, I mean, like really, what? And I know you can't speak for everyone, and that's the problem I have with this discussion. In some ways, I don't think all people are like, much less, millennials. But I mean, realistically, do we need to be concerned in the car business about flexible schedules, or do we is it more about maybe culture and just embrace, maybe a vision, but yet millennials like yourself do want to work hard and make money? I mean, which is it that's more important, I should say, that maybe a dealer should look at as a business model?
I think it may be some of both, especially if you're in the sales side of it, like I am, if you're a millennial, just finding a store that embraces, everything that you're going to be doing on the side, whether it's social media, staying busy, offer an aggressive pay plan is always very enticing, if you are chasing the money, and then at the same time, offer a day or two off, as maybe a bonus 1 month. Hey, if you hit this number, then you can have a flexible schedule, next month, or you can take X amount of days off next month. And overall, the longer that you're in it, and the more business that you build in your book of repeats and referrals, I mean, you're able to come to work, and you're still putting in a lot of hours, but you're just basically working smarter at that point, because you can line up your day with appointments. You're not having to stand on the lot for 12 hours pounding the pavement and wondering if you're going to hit your goal for that month. And then once you hit that point to where you have the repeats and referrals, then you're able to, maybe miss a couple days and it, not affect you as much. Like, I told somebody this before we jumped on the call, but, even with me being in Tampa Sunday through Tuesday, I got back yesterday, delivered 3, and, it was almost like I was never gone, even though I got the time out to hit my training, be in Florida, which of course is an awesome state, and still get back and you're right on track to keep it going like you never left off. So
that's cool. That's good.
But yeah,
that's really good. And I just want to stay on that question for one more second, Cribs, before you guys change it. Let me ask the 21, almost 22-year-old. I mean, somebody that's coming into, the professional workforce. Probably the newest of any of us. Sheila, Sheila, thank you. Sheila. I'm thinking of the singer.
Shalia, all y'all wrong.
See? Y'all.
Shalia.
Okay, Shalia. Kevin Burns said, he commented on Facebook. He said, 100% disagree. I don't enjoy my time off. I do. But he said, I constantly am checking my work emails. I do that as well. When I'm off work, yes, maybe I want a vacation once a year, but I haven't taken a vacation close to 5 years. I want to make my money now. I can take my time off when I retire. Okay. So maybe that's not a good example, but and that's his opinion. But we read Kevin's. But let me ask you, as a 21-year-old, almost 22, coming into this business, are you looking for a flexible schedule, or are you looking for somebody to say, hey, I'm going to give you a blueprint to really, start leading a successful life? I mean, what's more important to you, and where are you at in this conversation?
To be honest, I like both, obviously, but I do like my time off, and I only say that because it does give me a chance to kind of get a grip on what exactly I have happening during work hours. But I guess my thing is, when I am in the dealership, I like to balance the hours that I'm there and make sure I still get everything done that I need to get done. I'm not afraid to work a 12-hour day if I have to do that, but I also still like to come home and relax and have a good, I guess, rewind. You know what I mean? Like
Absolutely.
Settle down. But I definitely, obviously, the money's great, but at the same time, I still need to just get my stuff done at work and then come home. It's kind of how I feel.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. And let's go back to Tito. Tito, internet sales specialist at Crane Buick GMC of Springdale, and as an internet leader, really, let's talk to you for a moment and talk about kind of the same topic of conversation. But what do you believe as a dealership? What do you believe a dealership should be doing to attract millennials, and what attracted you to the store, or maybe the highlights of what you're looking for in a dealership?
Good question. Okay, so I believe that sales is life. So whenever I started working here, it was my first dealership first time in the car business. heard about the money. It sounded like a great thing. I am kind of an upperclassman millennial. I'm 31. So I really like the money, like the thoughts of being able to make a living and make some strides for my family and the different things like that. So I feel like sales is life. Everything I do is selling. I'm always branding myself, always selling myself. Even when I'm not here, I'm doing that. That's what we kind of look for, is some people who are not afraid to try something different, not afraid to do something outside the box. And you can be lazy to the point where you don't work, or you can be working and be lazy to the point where you're not doing what is necessary to get the job done, the essential things. Mm-hmm. So we just look for the people who are really about, who are really invested. That's what you look for, is just people who are invested.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's good.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Tito. And Dave, what about this? Is there anyone on the panel that went to work at your store because you were just attracted to the work schedule?
Okay.
Crickets.
Okay.
They're like 9 to 9 Monday through Saturday. We're signing me up.
Well, somebody was going to say something?
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I love my work schedule.
Okay. Yeah, and
it's
ironic.
Schedule, Tito?
It's ironic though. The comments that are coming in on Facebook, or I mean, in a lot of millennials, they're saying like, "What's time off?" or what, So I mean, and there's no.
What is it?
Yeah,
I've heard of it.
That's the culture that we've designed in this space. It doesn't have to be that way. I've having managed sales floors, like I was a sales director in my previous life, and having managed sales floors, when we came up and created interesting, unique cultures and also schedules, is when we attracted really interesting people that helped take us to another direction. And just because we do things a certain way doesn't mean it's the way that it has to be done. There are plenty of people, like Tracy Myers, for example, who just created things with his team to be able to attract a great sales body. And I find that we are turning over quality talent because of our hours and because of our confusing pay structures and because our lack of leadership and culture.
Scroll down. Absolutely. Well said there. And I want to go to comment right above Sean Hayes there. I want to read the Sean comment of what's the time off. But Zach Boakman, if I said it correctly, I apologize if not. He said, agree, Eddie. I guess maybe he's talking to somebody else on Facebook.
Eddie said the 9 to 9 was the worst morale killer.
Okay, so he said, agree, Eddie, and this is something interesting. I'll go to Jake Davis. Jake, I'm not sure if you have a family or if you're still a single guy. I don't know, but Zach here said, I don't have a family now, but could never imagine having one day and being able to have a 9 to 9 work schedule. And so that is something. And by the way, before you answer that, Jake, maybe some of you, Matt Koenig is doing his Rockstar conference in Vegas, and he has a guy that he interviewed a couple weeks ago. Can't remember the guy's name. Some of you guys probably know who he is. He's a 140 car a month or something.
Yeah.
But here's the deal. You hear that, and all of a sudden you think like, the guy's gonna have a big giant S on his shirt, and he's gonna be like, like this some macho. But what he interviewed him, and he was humble as could be. And one of the things that I loved about it is he said he works Monday through Friday, doesn't work weekends. He does work until 8 o'clock or so because he has customers, but he takes weekends off. And the way he does that, obviously, is because he's built the book of business. But I like that. He said that family time is very important, and my weekends are for my family. So anyway, I guess if you're selling 140 cars, you write your schedule. But he didn't start that way, and I'm sure those principles were important to him back then. But Jake, why don't you comment on this? And I know it's not all about schedule, but it seems like that this topic a lot of times goes back to that. Do you have an opinion on this, Jake?
Yeah, absolutely. We're a family-owned and operating dealership, so our hours are like 9 to 6:30 through the week, 9 to 5 Saturday, and close Sunday. So, I mean, you don't have to work bell to bell, 9 to 9 or whatever. When I first kind of started, in general, I mean, the goal was obviously just get the job done. There's people putting in their information. There's people putting in internet leads. There's people calling in. I need to be productive while I'm there and get the job done and help as many people buy as many cars as possible for myself and for the dealership. And so over time, as my roles kind of developed, I mean, I was working a lot of 6 day an hour, or working 6 days every week, just because I mean, I had a role that I was in charge of. But over time, I've kind of gotten some help. Daniel Gross, he's on the live stream watching as well. But he's been a tremendous help for me and giving me some time off. But I mean, I've got a mom and sister and everything, but I don't have a wife. I don't have kids. Thankfully, I'm not ready for all that. But in general, I mean, I like our dealership. I like the hours we have, and they are, not bad at all. If we were working 9 to 9, I think I might get burnt out. But I mean, I'm able to be productive the time I'm there and make the most of it, and ultimately, sell as many cars as we can.
Interesting.
Well, guys, this has been a pretty fluid conversation that we could probably go on another hour about, but we're gonna have to start wrapping it up. So I'd like everybody to kind of, give us your minute wrap up, how people can contact you.
Can I make a suggestion on the wrap up too, though?
Sure.
Maybe just so we can get a little bit of another topic in on this. Maybe everyone comments on something that you feel like. Maybe dealers listening, auto industry in general, something that they could, implement into their dealership, to make it better. It doesn't have to be hours. It could be any topic that maybe you thought about talking about on this show. So maybe this is your opportunity if you want to say something else and say, hey, something we're doing, something that, everyone listening might need to try, anything like that in your closing remarks that you also feel like that we didn't get into, and because this time flies when we get on the show.
Yeah, everybody got that. So that's what we'll wrap it up with. Shalia, we'll start with you. I think I said your name right for once tonight.
I think that sounded right. I guess one of my things that I love to do in my dealership is, truthfully, I love to work with the managers that have been there forever, like the true car guys, so to speak. They have a lot of insight on just how the car business used to work, and it's fun to learn how it used to work and just kind of putting my own spin on it and combining our efforts in order to get a new way of doing things, I guess.
That is very cool.
Just learning from the managers.
That's very cool. That's very cool, right?
It was very cool, except for the part where I felt a lot older.
Yeah. You're old. You could be your grandfather.
You could be your grandfather.
How the car business used to be, girl.
I remember when I had to pick up a phone.
But I like that.
Shalia, do you want to give your contact information so people can get a hold of you if they want to reach out to you?
Follow you on Twitter or anything?
All that good stuff?
I guess as long as somebody can spell my name, they can find me, really. So, so you can contact me. My email is Shalia S, so that is SIALEAS at WillardAutoGroup.com.
Awesome.
Or really, you can give me a call. My cell phone number is 301-462-9399.
Awesome. And her name and picture are on the screen, as well as I think that's her one of her Twitter handle is on there as well. So make sure you follow her. Thank you so much, Shalia, for being on the phone or on the call with us, and sorry about the mispronouncing your name so many times. 17 times. But we got it. We finally got it right.
You get used to it. Thank you.
Thank you. And let's go to Tony. Tony, man, give us your give us your closing remarks. Something you'd like to leave the audience with today.
Tony with the keys, man. So first and foremost, I just want to say I think that we should always be learning how to bring value. Invest in yourself. Invest in training to work your way into being a household name. I invest in training. I'm with Mark Jemison and Jonathan Dawson, and I watch all of these training videos on YouTube, and I learn about my apps. I learn how to build engagement with them, Card Tap and Bomb and all of these things. So I would encourage everyone, even the millennials, the Gen Xers, baby boomers, everyone, to really learn how to keep an eye on the way that the times are moving, because times are moving, and it is at the point of disruption right now. So it's growth on a large scale. You can make one video and 10 million people see it if it's the right content. So it's just definitely continue to train and stay current with the time.
Nice. Thank you, man. Thank you so much, Tony.
Yep. Let's go to Jake Davis.
And you can.
Oh yeah. How do we follow?
Man, all you got to do is go to your search bar and type in Tony with the keys. I'm the only one. Tony with the keys. I got the keys that belong to you. You know how to find me.
Tony with the keys. All right. Thank you.
Thank you so
Tony.
much.
All right. Let's go to Jake Davis.
All right, then. Appreciate you guys having me on. It's been a blast. But as far as just talking about millennials in general, I think if there's somebody that you need to meet them where they're at in the process. We didn't really talk about the experience and things of that nature, but you definitely need to streamline things, figure out what information they already know and get them the information that they're looking for to make a better experience. Definitely, a group, a lot of people. I mean, I read a statistic, 4.1 million vehicles were purchased last year by millennials, so they're, not a generation to forget. So be sure to, obviously stay on the cutting edge and make sure to market to those people correctly and give them the right experience. And as far as finding me, Facebook's probably the best way. You can email me at jakedavis at northgeorgiatoyota.com, and then Twitter at Jake from NorthGA is one of my Twitter accounts. I've got like 3, but I definitely can check that one. So
awesome.
Look forward to connecting with everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Jake.
Awesome. Let's go to Jameson Johnson. Jameson, thanks for being with us, man. Again, it was a pleasure meeting you. Why don't you leave us with some final thoughts?
Yeah, pleasure here as well. Like Tony and Jake said, just stay ahead of the curve. One thing that I did that helped my business out a lot over the past couple of years was engaging more into the social media side of selling. And one thing I noticed, anytime if you've gone to the airport, and like I said, I was in the airport earlier this week, I walked through there, and unless somebody is busting their butt to get to their terminal so they won't miss their flight, every single person has their phone out doing something on their phone. So just build up more, get on social media, Facebook. YouTube is one of the things that I implemented into my sales strategy last year. I created a YouTube channel. I do car reviews on there, post them up. I do ride-alongs to tell people about the vehicle. I do a lot of custom builds here. So we're a big truck and Mustang dealer. So I jack up trucks 6 inches, throw 24-inch wheels on it. Mustangs, get them up to 825 horsepower, and put this stuff out on social media because that really engages people because it's something different, that not everybody is doing or maybe not in their area is doing. So then I'll have people reach out to me from, all over the U.S. Asking about, vehicles and doing that stuff. So that would be my tip, stay on top of that. If you don't have a social media outlet that you're pounding every single day, then definitely go ahead and start implement that. If your friends and family get annoyed by it, that's okay. Yeah. There's an unfollow button on there, but I guarantee you that at the end of the day, if they hear somebody shopping or in the market for a vehicle, you're the first person that they think about because of all the stuff that you post. And one other thing that was unique that happened to me a couple weeks ago, I had a customer out of state in Tennessee, and they were looking at a pre-owned vehicle. And she said, just call me in about 20 minutes, and I'll answer. So I picked up my cell phone instead of my office phone, and I mistakenly hit FaceTime. And so I'm ringing FaceTime, and I was like, all right, well, I'll just let it ring. So she picks up, and I show her the vehicle. We have a 20-minute phone conversation, and I'm showing her this pre-owned vehicle that I have here, and that probably helped out more than sending pictures or just a phone conversation over the phone because we were really engaged there with each other. And, she could see every single thing up close I was telling her, and we could get each other's reactions off of it. And, within an hour or two, here I've got $50,000+ being wire transferred to me off of a 20-minute FaceTime video. So,
that's crazy.
But anyway, that would be my tip. Do a lot more video and just really engage with the customers. And if you'd like to reach out to me, you can find me on Facebook. That's probably the easiest way. Facebook, just up under Jameson Johnson. Same spelling that's in the video right here. And I believe after my name, I may have Athens Ford in parentheses. You can look it up that way, or on Facebook, just search hashtag Ride with JJ. So RIDE WITH JJ. You can probably find a bunch of pictures and videos there. And on YouTube, same thing. Search channel name Ride with JJ. Standard spelling on that, and you can pull up my YouTube channel there. And email is going to be letter J, last name Johnson, at athensford.com. And then I'll give you my cell phone number as well as area code 706-340-6815. So anybody that has any questions, feel free to reach out anytime. And I appreciate you guys having me on this afternoon.
Hey, Jameson, it's our pleasure, man. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
There's a lot of contact information.
Yes, awesome.
And I think Subi is the last one.
Subi, last but not least, the millennial star of the show.
Thanks for having me, guys. This is a topic that I'm really passionate about, obviously, because I think we need to do a better job of attracting all age groups, all cultures, all everything, and we do a poor job because of doing it the way that we've always been doing it. So the way you can contact me is at Subi101 on Twitter, or you can search me on Facebook, Subi Ghosh. I'm pretty easy to find. And my email address is subi.ghosh@streamcompanies.com. But if I were to give a concluding thought, I would say remove your bias. If you have bias towards any generation or any culture or anything, really, your managers and your team will do the same, which ends up being a really poor experience for your customers. So it's a sick cycle. When we feel a certain way, we end up putting that forth into the team, and then a really bad experience for the customers. So just be willing to adapt and evolve to both teammates and your customers' changes, because technology is making us evolve at a fast rate. And so the fact that my parents are on Facebook and using and texting me with emojis tells me that anybody can evolve. So if we rethink our culture and our leadership, our value prop of what it means to work at our companies, our simple pay plans, things like that will attract that audience, and you'll find hungry people no matter what. But if you give a reason to work at your dealership, I find that we get far better talent. But it takes us removing that bias and being willing to adapt. So that would be what I ask for you guys to consider.
Nice. Thank you so much. Always great seeing you, and thank you for hanging out with us.
Of course. Thank you.
All right. Well, guys, thank you to all of our guests. And so let's wrap up this, and let's read some comments, and because we have a lot, and we want to give your voice, some of the voices that came in. We have some comments in front of us, and incredible feedback, incredible comments. Let's see. Let's read some here. Is that where we're starting with Christopher Ward? He said, our parents' generation got crushed so car by say, okay, so you guys, what does that say? Got crushed so car by car sales terms in the good old days that they painted a negative picture of, I don't know if that, so a picture of working in the car business as a career. As a result, millennials never tend to dream about being in the car business. Change the narrative around being in automotive sales.
That would have been a good question. Did
watch
you ever
the
dream
application
of being in the car business?
And Sean Hayes is watching. What's up, Sean? Commented on Jameson. Jake Davis, Sean Hayes in the house. Kylan. Let's see here. Jeff Glacken, you're either driven or you aren't. Labels are just excuses. Here. Mm-hmm. Amy Banner, millennial, here, putting Tupelo, Mississippi on the map. I'm sorry, man. I'm just, just Kim's writing.
By the way,
Brad Rides.
By the way,
Brad
Bomb
Rides.
you guys owe us $17,462 for your unsolicited.
Brad Wise. Brad Wise. What's up, Brad Wise? I heard Brad spoke to us yesterday.
I talked
here.
to Brad yesterday for a
Did
minute.
you?
Yeah,
for a minute. What do you say here? Read his comment.
Let's see. He said because millennials are primarily on mobile devices, are they more likely to use click to call to get info or fill out forms and submit a lead when on a dealer's website? That's a great question.
My wife, who is not a millennial, just texted me. Not a millennial, babe. Said, read much? Question mark. It was not my reading, honey.
It was the writing.
It was Kim's writing. Kim typed the comments off of Facebook
keep going,
or
Lou.
Lewis's.
Scroll on down, suckers. Keep it moving.
Always get the
Well, because Kim looked at me like it wasn't her, but somebody translated it over to. You did. Brian West holds a cell phone instead of using a Bluetooth, calls herself a millennial. Just because he said he's not a millennial, right? I don't know. Luis Butler said Washington.
Key.
Tony with the keys. Christopher Ward, the deal board knows no age. Come on, Chris.
Oh, now that's a good one.
That's a
Chris.
good one.
I
Look
like
at
that one.
Gabe Levy, old guy here. All right.
With his limited engagement and one sentence.
Gabe
quote.
is my son, by the way.
Christine Plunkett, I watched Jake's videos for the accent.
She loves him.
My wife said,
almost as much as you
my
do.
wife said, typical old guy blaming the millennial. First of all, Kim is not a millennial. And Lewis is not a millennial either.
Lewis is the millennial.
Okay. Oh, he is. Barely.
Yes, we were talking.
All right. So Williams, let's see. Willis, Williams, Jake is going to kill it. How many videos? So we got comments coming in. I love them. Honestly, keep the dialogue going on Facebook with this discussion because, I think the one thing that I love that I heard on this, so, if you really want to know, one of my favorite comments was at the end when Sheila. Did I say it wrong? again?
Yes.
Yes, it was obviously Shaw Leo.
No, when she said something at the end, her last comment was one of my favorites, because when we're talking about all this social media, and we even in some of our questions label, the questions, what's your favorite thing? In the comment that she comes across so clear on is, I like hanging out with the car guys and learning the car business.
They remind me of my dad.
Okay. That's not how she said it.
No, I know. I'm just kidding. She didn't say that, but that's probably.
You know what I'm saying? That the comment was because that comment shatters.
I think it showed her passion for the business.
Yes,
actually.
it
Great
shatters
comment,
what you
Shula.
think about millennials. She said, out of all the comments, it wasn't some comment that it was a comment that it should make dealers proud and happy. Yeah. She's like, hey, I like hanging out and learning the actual business and then putting my spin on it, because that's the reality, man. I mean, people still want to drive away in a car. I love what Jameson said. FaceTiming. He did it by accident, but I mean, and I love the fact that, FaceTiming and then being able to walk over to the car, be like, hey, how you doing? Look, I just thought I'd FaceTime you. I can see it now as a salesperson. I just thought I'd FaceTime you and go ahead and just walk over here and show it to you real quick. I know it's accident, but he thought off the cuff.
What I thought was really kind of what I was thinking about when he was talking about that was the fact that,
Good thing he wasn't in the bathroom or something like that.
The fact that that millennials, or maybe the younger generation, or maybe everyone now have gotten so comfortable with the FaceTime and video, they actually prefer that than to actually stand in front of you and talk. Now, I know in his case, she was in a different geographical location because he talked about
but he did it accidentally. But now, I guarantee you what he's going to do now is he's going to do it on purpose and create a sales strategy, because the deal is he did it on purpose, but then he had the salesmanship, right, to go to think quick, right, and say, hey, let me walk you over. I thought I'd walk you over to the car. Showed it to her. Then did you hear what he said at the end? There was an e-commerce deal that took place there. Yeah. Wire transfer $50,000 into the account. I mean, hey, kudos, a way to go there, Jameson.
Christine Plunkett said need a whole other show to talk about marketing and selling to millennials, and I probably concur. We probably should do that, huh?
Yes, we should.
FaceTime someone
now. If you want to be on it, Christine, reach out to us and we'll
now you can FaceTime because you got rid of that Android device. You got an iPhone.
You
and Christine Plunkett, can you do it? It's not called FaceTime. It must be called something like
it's called a video call.
Like video your face. That's what Android would call it. Video your face.
Something face video.
I'm going to do a FaceTime so I can hopefully get a wire transfer.
All right, so let's see here. Amy Banner said there is a trust.
Video call.
Hold on here. There's a trust in marketing, Amy Banner says, with social media. People can see what their friends like and don't like. It's more powerful than a business saying we are great. When your friends say they are great, we believe it. I like that. And here's the thing about that. Look, what I was going with that is when social media, if you do something, like if you buy something from me and we have a good experience, which most sales experiences are.
Yeah.
Right? Or
because you made the deal.
So now I'm videoing you or whatever, just something, like something whimsical, and then I'm doing this and, hey, let me go ahead and tag you on this, post or whatever. And then you see a video of yourself on there. And then you're like, oh, that's cool. Let me share. Oh, look what happened. Look at me on the video. Because most people, right, they're not always videoing themselves. Tommy,
I'm FaceTiming with my wife right now, even though I have an Android device.
For putting her
my kids.
on.
I was doing
the spot.
So what do we have for upcoming shows?
My daughter. What's up, y'all?
While you're looking that up, let me see. Matt Koenig. It's Shulia. There you go, Matt. Thank you. Shalia. He said, Chad Morgan said there's a pushback on canned, scroll up, automation, but if you, not that far, not that fast. Chad Morgan, there's a pushback on canned automation, but if you can use tech to be an extension of yourself, that is a game changer. Brian West, Shalia will be a driving force in the industry in the years to come. Definitely someone to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I think Brian West. Yeah, I think all of
Brian West got a little bit of a
crush on Shalia.
A little bit of Shalia crush.
That's the second comment. He's like, Shalia is way ahead of her game.
She's the baller.
And she did give out her cell phone. I'm just saying.
Yeah, Brian. Did you screenshot that one, Brian? You can go back and watch it again, buddy, because it's on repeat. It's on Facebook Live, Brian. You can go back and get Shalia's cell phone number and call her and tell her how much you love her, Brian West.
You can FaceTime
we know you love her.
FaceTime her, according to Jameson Network. So maybe get a wire transfer.
We got more comments. You want to read a couple more? Chad Morgan, what do you say there, Cribs?
Says,
we're going over, but let's read the comments from
technology. That is an extension of you. Customers and leads. Hate automation. Yeah, we just talked about that. I feel like Christine Plunkett. I feel like Navin Johnson.
Navin Johnson.
I don't even know
that's
who
from
that
The
is.
Jerk. Remember Steve Martin, The Jerk?
Oh,
Evidently not. He said Navin.
Yeah.
That's before my
Good job,
time.
Christine.
Steve Martin's before
A plus
my
for the
time.
Christine or for the
Jillian
Christine
Ambrose,
whatever.
very
I said it wrong.
millennials hate being on the phone. Haha. Well, actually, it was funny because Tito said something about Tito said something interesting. You notice that he said that I will once they watch my videos, I'll get them on the phone. So actually, I think that if a millennial can learn to own the phone, which Jameis Johnson owned the phone, learned how to do that in the boot camp on Tuesday,
Right.
and went back and sold 3 deals yesterday. Come on.
Come on. Yeah.
Joey Perez.
I
Can't
noticed
lie,
that
though.
too.
True millennial fashion.
didn't
Going to
spell it
spell
out.
though like that
Can't
hoe
lie,
over
though.
there. Look, that's what he did. He said that THO.
Can't lie though.
He left the T out. I thought he was
Oh, look, it's look at
the
Matt
fact
Cain
that
is-
I'm millennial, willing to pick up the hammer.
Why
and
don't you
connect.
FaceTime me,
You know what?
Kenny?
I can't concentrate. All right, so listen, we're going to go. We're way over. Tommy won't let me read the comments because he's talking.
Yeah,
All right, bro.
Koenig's on the phone.
Oh, hey, what's up, Matt?
Oh, he's out.
Sorry, I didn't know what you were doing there.
Yeah,
I thought
sorry.
You don't ever know what I'm doing. Like,
read
that's-
read
never
Joey's
stops you.
comments. We can get him on
Can't
the
lie
air.
though.
Joey
the fact
Perez.
I'm a millennial willing to pick up the. Oh yeah, I can't even read that when he says stupid crap like that. To pick up the hammer and connect offers on a muscle. What is he even talking about?
Let's say it like Joey though. Let's say it like Joey does. Say it like Joey. Go.
I can't lie though. The fact that I'm a millennial willing to pick up the hammer and connect offers a muscle most guys my age are scared to grow.
Grow what?
A muscle.
Pay.
A phone muscle.
I am so.
I don't even know what that meant,
Hello?
Joey.
What did that mean?
Hello? I don't know. It's
It
Joey
means that
speak.
he's a millennial that is willing to pick up the phone / AKA hammer and grow a muscle, meaning grow.
I don't think that's what it said.
What are you laughing at?
One more comment, then we're going. Kevin
Yeah.
Burns, here's something I can tell you 100% is an advantage to have a millennial managing your social media versus someone from the baby boomer generation. In my experience, I respond to every single comment on our Facebook, good or bad. I engage in unique ways. The cause more engagement by GIFs. Is that how you say it?
GIFs, memes, and other
GIFs.
cultural GIFs. I believe it's called GIFs.
I think it's GIFs.
I think
Memes,
it's either way now. It's
GIFs.
acceptable.
GIFs is peanut butter. All right. Memes and other cultural. Is it GIFs? Okay.
GIFs.
Things. GIFs?
It's GIFs.
All right. All right.
Thank you.
From our generation, the older generations don't really understand that concept. It's even more powerful on tools like Facebook. When you set up an audience, Kevin's writing a book here, audience for an AD that is
That's
just
after-
millennials.
Turn the page.
AD.
That's 80 after the death.
Right. And then you respond in that manner. Not only does your engagement skyrocket, you're talking the same language, page 2, as the majority of people.
He would've
And
used
I
a meme or a
even
GIF on
use
this, we would've already
memes
had the
and
point.
GIFs. This is going to need an IDN number. This is like published as ADs at times and have seen success. Why didn't you guys warn me?
This is right.
Have seen
Who put this
success
on
continue
here?
to come from these methods and strategies. It takes time, hands-on approach, patience, because it might take me 3 months to hook one of these younger people
Kim's hand was like this. Oh,
in, but once they start engaging with me, they stay engaging. Once you get one talking, they often tag you and their friends. Also, it just gets funny and enjoyable. They remember these moments when it comes time to buy. Amen.
I remember this.
What's his
moment.
name? I didn't remember who the guy was.
Oh no!
Scroll back to the top.
It's gonna
See
take
if you
an
find the
hour.
GIF. That was really long.
Kevin Burns.
Kevin Burns.
All right, guys, let's get off this show.
Holy
Yeah, let's
moly.
do it.
God bless y'all.
Nightmare on Service Drive.
That's
Nightmare
next.
on Service Drive. Coming up.
Rawr. Love y'all.